Hi. Chilly. Always cold. Okay, we're just gonna do this and that tonight. I'm just showing up. Had some pretty enlightening news today. Let me test it out for 3 or 4 more days, and then I'll tell you what silly little glitch I personally had. But let's listen to Candace. We'll listen to Candace for a bit. We'll talk about what she's saying, and then we'll do our thing. Okay? Hold on. Here we go.
Told me by Charlie, and I was like, dude, don't even let them stress you out, because now they were kind of squeezing him. Like, she can't speak. She's an anti-Semite, whatever. And I'm like, look, I'm banned from Australia. I don't even care about that, man. You don't let this bleed onto you what I'm going through. I'll get through this. I'll be fine. I didn't know who exactly the donor was. I knew that they were feeding information also to Barry Weiss. And I then got a phone call from Andrew Colbert at that time saying to me, hey, letting you know that we're going to allow Ben to effectively buy a place at AmFest. I know he doesn't normally speak here, and we want to make sure you're okay with that, obviously, because it's so much money, and like, it's an offensive amount of money, effectively, and he's buying a spot, and now he's going to, get involved and buy up this documentary that we're doing. And I was first and foremost, I was like, this is so unbelievably petty. It's so perfectly Ben. And also, I don't care. Take his money. Like, I want you guys to be successful. Like, I am not insecure in me and Charlie's friendship at all. If he's going to have his friends go after, try to make it look like me and Charlie aren't friends. So it was interesting to me to learn that Nelda Buckman, and I'm not saying that she necessarily was the person who put the pressure on it, but it's interesting to connect that dot, because it was particularly about this documentary that Andrew Colbert told me about.
There must be a Fox or something.
To do this interview now with Ben, and that's what's happening. No big deal. What we can be certain of, and again, that's just speculation, but what we can be certain of regarding Nelda Buckman is that she is an executive producer. She's also an artist. She's also a philanthropist. And like Erica, which is the compelling part here, she has done extensive work.
I don't know what she's doing with all this girl boss stuff. Not Candace, Erica. She's like, oh, girl boss, let's learn how to be
So it's like, there's all of these
a powerful woman.
Austin Angels, New Jersey Angels. She works with all of them to help foster children. Okay, I don't really have a gripe about that. I think I have shared. My mother spent time in a group home. There is a need. I am particularly open to the fact that there is a need and that the system is not great. But, and this part I would say, concerned about. It doesn't mean I'm concerned about Nelda, but this project in general existing gives me pause. It gives me concern, because Nelda is one of the largest donors. She might even be the largest donor to Courage House, Nevada. Okay? I don't like anything that happens in Nevada. Blackmail rings. There's a lot of stuff that happens in Las Vegas, obviously. And this nonprofit, which advertises itself as providing safe homes for child sex trafficking survivors, and per its website in April 2025,
where is this one right now?
3-acre property.
What's going on with that?
County, Nevada. Okay.
Hold on.
It planned to house 6 resident children. That's a lot of space for 6 children. All of these children are female, and it should be noted that this is a psychiatric residential treatment facility. Different powers for the state if they say you're a nutcase. Okay, they can just do things and keep you, and that's immediately upon its opening that November. This is the goal. A 40-acre property, as you see, and we're going to house 6 girls, and it has a capacity for 18 as cottages are being built. That's their long-term goal, is to provide care to 12 more children, total capacity.
What is going on? What did Charlie find out?
And 40 acres for 18 children feels like a lot to me. But I want to stress that the goal
he found out something.
Just temporarily house these sex traffickers.
Because now everything's going on.
The first thing that stood out to me as unusual, and I'm grateful that this Mommy Sleuth went down and dug this up, is that the Courage House is reportedly located in a confidential, secure location, meaning that we have no way to tell where these girls are going to be kept. Now, to justify this, the founder of Courage Worldwide says, oh, well, told local news, there are people out in the world that want to hurt these girls. That's why we have to find a rural place and, quote, where it's hard for them to leave or for someone to find them. And so the mommy sleuth that emailed me was like, what do they mean it's hard for them to leave? So you've got these children that are sex trafficking victims that are being brought to this 40-acre campus to live in these cottages, and it's hard for them to leave. That's Mommy Sleuth is right. It's creepy. It's very creepy to state it that way. And it's exactly, by the way, who's hunting down these sex trafficking victims is also unusual, that they're implying throughout the website that these girls are as young as 4 to 6 years old, and they say that they will have the careers that they dream of. They're going to offer them tuition support, so they're then going to pay for them to go to college. They are going to house them long term, and they specifically outline how excited they are that Nevada has changed its laws, which means that they don't have to leave on their 18th birthday. That those girls can now stay until they're 21. I don't like it. I just don't like it. I don't like any of this.
It's so weird.
I am not at all implying that the Buckmans have a hand in that. It's more just learning about these stories and covering these stories, even my own ignorance. Like I used to give annually, just so you guys know, to Operation Underground, which was run by Tim Ballard. And then they had a bit of a scandal, and I think that all of us, since we're such normal people, we assume that when these charities are dedicating themselves to sex trafficking victims, that they are actually trying to help sex trafficking victims. But the scandals of a lot of these charities, the way that they're being sued, doesn't sound like that at all, okay? It sounds like some of these charities, and again, I'm not saying that the Nevada House is one of these, are involved in the trafficking. And to what aim? Nevada doesn't seem like the right place for that at all. A lot of creeps go to Nevada, right? That's where Las Vegas is. That's where people are actively trying to hook up with children, right? That's where they go for their vices. And now we're just gonna have a 40-acre farm, and we're not allowed to know where it is. We're not allowed to know who's in there, and we're being told it's for their protection. I don't feel great about that. I don't feel great about that at all, actually. I think we need to revisit the topic of these child sex trafficking charities. Full stop. Full stop, okay? I'm getting a sense, I'm gonna tell you, this is my sense. I'm getting a sense, and you know how Jeffrey Epstein also gave to schools. They donate to schools, donate a lot, like actually. We should go revisit just what sort of charities donate to. I would be certain that some of them were sex trafficking charities. I'm getting a sense that some of them are involved implicitly in trafficking victims, and then traumatizing these people as their children, and then almost having these children develop, which was determined, the precursor to MK Ultra, which actually took place with Nazi scientists that was then brought over here, Operation Paperclip, that they know that when you abuse a child, and then if you raise a child, and Sigmund Freud illustrates this in the book that we're currently reading, Book Club, that you can create a psychopath. You can also create someone that has dissociative disorder. It's like also they're not people. I feel like these people are going through programs. They're turning these people onto society. They're like robots walking among us. I say that and they mock that. Don't mock it. I think these are the White Walkers. This is the sense of dread that I have. That there has been some sort of an effort and some sort of a program that's happening wherein children are being harmed and then they're being offered all sorts of things, and like now you're in the club. I mean, this is, by the way, stuff that happens in gangs as well. It's like how you budget a gang. I mean, we get to the bottom of what's guiding the idea of even hazing in fraternities is that you're going to suffer and then you're one of us. Okay? That's what's informing it. It's like a kind of trauma that's then going to commit you further to their cause. And I think that's happening. I think there are, to use obviously an analogy here, White Walkers among us. I really do believe that. And these people,
what is a White
something
Walker?
about them where I just look at them and I think something happened to you when you were a child. I felt this way spiritually.
We have to look it up.
I looked at Astrid Tuminez, who, by the way, has just stepped down from Utah
What
University, which is now
is
of
a
University.
White
Was
Walker?
not there on that day, despite the fact that it was the first week of school. She was not there on the day.
Oh, something about
conversation.
Game of
Looks like she was involved in
Thrones.
Cultural Revolution stuff in the CIA. She was a fostered
A
child.
supernatural
And here's the thing, I
humanoid
looked at
ice
Astrid Tuminez
creature.
in the interview, and I was just like, childhood trauma? Question mark. I don't know. I'm putting it out there. And we'll find out if I'm right by how much they
And by the way, happy National Strawberry Ice Cream Day.
This is suggesting that the military is converting a bunch of people into like a sleeper cell army of abused kids that are now adults, and we'll just do whatever they say. When they start paying for that campaign, that propaganda campaign, we can then go ahead and take what I say. inflation, surging national debt, market volatility, never-ending wars, bank failures, and yes, even
Update week 2 of 52. And nope, I didn't get this up. Well, what had happened was blah, 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 blah. And yeah, exactly. That's exactly what happened. Blah, 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 blah. Let me see where this other one is. Boom. This is me. And there we go. We'll put this here. You know, I can stream to Twitch, I guess. Let me write this title down. And then I'll stream to Twitch. Bum, 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 bum. We're going to copy this. Ooh, wah, wah, wah. Copy. And now let's put the chat room open. Open panel. And then we will, what's going on there? And we'll move it over here. And then we're going to go broadcast on Twitch. Oh, that's what it says it is. Oops, sorry.
and making it sound different. This is, by the way, for people who initially, and I know people have changed their mind, that seems to be more radical, but I think people who initially were supporting the transgender movement were not doing so out of evil. They just, it's, you know, this kid's going through some stuff, we want to be a supportive parent. I think they were very ill-guided. It's obvious to me that as soon as you start saying that children have the authority when they're 4 to decide about their bodies, we know what comes next. We just know what comes next. It's obvious. And it's never, they're always trying to grow these things out to exist between like the left-right paradigm. It's just the signals at the top trying to accomplish their aims, and also slowly introducing this in culture. We spoke about that, how they're now kind of soft selling us incest and at all times. And of course, if you went on Babylon, a book club, and you know this is the founding story of Hollywood. And that is Hollywood's founding story. They were, after this Babylonian culture, they largely imported a bunch of Viennese directors who had been engaging in pedophilia over in Vienna, and that it was rampant. It was just rampant. Anyway, Nick Fuentes is one of these people who is trying to soften it. So for clarity, before we listen to this clip, Jeffrey Epstein had been accused of trafficking children 8 years old, 11 years old. He, for his own birthday, as birthday to himself, found some 12-year-old triplets who were cared for. His friend, Jean-Luc Brunel in Paris, flew these 12-year-old triplets to Jeffrey Epstein, okay? No one's arguing about Jeffrey Epstein's perverted interest, sexual interest. No one's arguing with that. However, Nick Fuentes is going to explain why, actually, that's not pedophilia. Take a listen.
What?
This whole pedo thing, it's like, they're really pedophilia. I don't want to be the one that has to say it, but I guess I'm being forced to say it. It's not really pedophilia, okay? They weren't trafficking 5-year-olds. It was like they were technically not legal. Big difference, in my opinion. I know that's a controversial take, but that's not really the issue there. Okay? The issue is not that they were barely...
I think he just tries to say things to be shocking,
what it is.
and he comes off kind of boring.
Okay, relax. No, the issue is that Epstein is a Jewish spy, probably working with Israel.
Oh, so it has to do with his religion, not the fact that there was kids involved.
Honestly, this is a time where it is appropriate to say this. Stop. Stop. I watched that. So just stop right there. Why? Why are we always here in society for no reason? How easy is it not to do that? Okay? Not to try to use some technicality, which, by the way, who do you think is in control of these definitions, by the way? I mean, they are changing the definition of what it means to be a girl and a boy right now. So if you can find, well, look at this definition. Technically, if the person is 11, if the person's not under 5, who cares if they're prepubescent? The point is not pedophilia. We're just, we've expanded definition. We're constantly expanding and changing definitions to confuse people against common sense, okay? If you are sexually interested in prepubescent children, you're talking about. How about that? Is that easy? Thumbs up? Cool? We good? And what is just so remarkable to me, and like I said, I've been fine with him doing his thing. Obviously, he's a federal informant. It's ridiculous people that don't understand that. It's ridiculous that people just keep following him despite the overwhelming evidence. I mean, this guy took a meeting with Dan Wilkes' partner after years of screaming about Ben Shapiro and talking about Israel. He took a meeting with Defend Texas Liberty and Ferris Wilkes' partner and pitched, they actually, one reporter was pitching to sell the data of his followers. And people were like, that's fine. He led people into a Capitol with a bullhorn and said, ignore police, storm the barriers, as if he had fed, he had fed instructions. And we know for a fact, he was informed the night before by Milo Yiannopoulos, that were going to be, that there was some Fed trap happening. And despite that, he went with a bullhorn. He just said he had a bullhorn, and he's telling people to storm, and he doesn't get arrested. And his lawyer...
I didn't know Milo was involved in that.
About whether or not is a
Did
federal
you?
performance. It's been so in your face and obvious. The ridiculous, oh, I just got $250 million in Bitcoin from France from a guy who killed himself and published a letter 24 hours after he was dead. He set out a timer, and it's perfect English, and anybody's ever been French people don't speak perfect English. They are not writing a letter in English, even if they speak perfect English. It's just been so absurd that it offends my senses. It offends my sensibility that people have been following him. This is a Glee Club kid, okay? He's dramatic. I like Nick Fuentes clips, like I like watching Real Housewives clips. And this is, by the way, the problem, as I've said, that heterosexual men cannot continue to follow theater boys. This is actually an illness in our society, is that people who are playing the parts of men that are actually at their core theater boys and want to go to Congress and want to have platforms and would never fight wars, they are, for whatever reason, being listened to by actual men. This was just unbelievable to me that the statement was made, and you couldn't see that it was going to end here. Of course, what happens? This is what happens when you elect or you decide that you're going to follow people who don't like women. That's the reality. They don't like women, so family offends them. Despite making that statement, he then tries to do a 180 and pretend he didn't just say what we heard him say. Here's what he said in a follow-up, where he's going to yell at you for hearing what he just said, which is that it's not pedophilia. Take a listen.
This is not just about somebody was trafficking girls somewhere. That's not the story. The story is someone was trafficking girls to acquire blackmail to sell to Israel. That is the point, and that is what I said last night. I said, for someone to make it all about pedophilia, I said it's kind of just like it's not really true, because again, it does get away from what's happening.
That's not what he said.
It is not
He said something like, "Oh well, they were only they weren't 11, they were 12 or something, right?" Weirdos.
Not to lose sight of that. I saw Marjorie Green say this is about female victims. It's actually not about female victims. It's about the integrity of our government. You understand the difference? It's not to say we're not sympathetic. It's not to say that it's not criminal. It's not to say that it's good. I'm not defending it. I'm saying this is not Dateline. This is not a human interest story. This is a layered crime. It's one crime in the furtherance of a much more politically significant crime. But all these dumb I mean, they literally just don't have the IQ to understand that. For them, it's just about screeching about the same nonsense every day. They don't understand what they're talking about. They have no idea about anything. They hear something they don't like. They say, oh, he's with Israel now. He got paid. I'm sorry. I've been doing this way longer than you. When did you come on the scene? When did you get red pill? Last year? 10 minutes ago? When did you start talking about this stuff? Oh, now you're the expert and the gatekeeper. I'm done with that. I'm out. Seriously. You don't have to unfollow me, because I'm out. This whole movement of Gen X idiots that are obsessed with satanic pedophiles.
So what is bookish?
That doesn't even make sense.
What does that stand for?
Seriously.
What does
This sat across from me and said
book
that people who are self-preparing just don't have a high IQ. Let me tell you what he strikes me as. Nick strikes me as someone who was really bright in high school and got a little bit of fame and he stopped reading books. That's it. This is what happens. People like me, I don't have to learn anymore. I can just shut off my brain. We're doing the same compliment. Because if you do not understand that this is a cult, that the theology matters much more than the politics, okay? This like left-right dialectic, it means nothing until you understand the theology that is guiding these elites worldwide. And it is, in fact, cultic. It is, in fact, satanic. And these are, in fact, ritualistic. It's all over. You need but read articles that are in your face or conduct even a minor incursion into the history of psychology, which was brought upon our source, our source, a minor incursion even to the establishment of Hollywood. It's right there. And by the way, it is actually low IQ anti-Semitism, like we call it, to just go, oh, well, that's just all Jews. That's why I don't like Dave Smith. I don't even like Dave Smith, even though he's completely on our side on everything. It's him. That's actually what low IQ anti-Semitism is. Because to be clear, this occultic, ritualistic stuff, these people are gypsies. They exist in every faith. Let's be clear.
Oh, there we go. I was just thinking about,
Jack Parsons exists.
man, I don't know if I want to come out, because I don't have a conclusion yet. But anyway, bookish.
Go to the moon after the Apollo program was established. So actually, Nick, it's you that is demonstrating that you have a low IQ. Or rather, that you are trying to tell your audience to stop learning. You're trying to convince them, and by the way...
Oh, she caught up. I like when they talk fast. So I'll probably leave it to when ready to upload to KDP. So you're gonna upload somebody else's work to your KDP? That doesn't sound right. Dog training logbook. Life organization planner. Blog planner, 26 pages. I'm cold. Probably gonna put on a vest in a few minutes. Has it been a few minutes? Okay, I'm back. So I just stuffed my butt in the... Okay, so much better. I have on numerous layers under there. I guess you can see it best from here. I have like layers, and then layers, and then layers, and then layers, and pockets. It's hard to work when your hands are cold. I'm always cold. Okay, I don't know why I'm lost down this rabbit hole, because I just discovered this planner templates right there. It's under crafters. I hadn't known that it existed before. So this is design bundles. It's where I get all my stuff. I guess I'll put a link in the description. So let me do notes and then do designs link. Boom. There. Now you can have it. So by the time you read this, it's probably behind you. It's probably down that way. It's probably in the description so you can find it. Join. I think you get something and I get something and everybody is happy and they're happy and happy, happy, happy. Everybody's happy. Everybody's happy. Okay, so I like when she talks real fast. That's why I like to have it go in the front. Plus, I don't want to act like her stuff is mine. So if I play it super fast, I'm not pretending that it's me.
Hey, you're trying to convince them that Satan is a conspiracy theory. Keep focused on the minutia. The left versus right, right? It's Israel versus America. It's not bigger than that. There's no global conspiracy happening. We weren't told that Satan is going to inherit here. This is why he also strikes me as someone who does not attend Mass regularly first, because the way he speaks, there is such a thing as having a Catholic conscience. It's difficult to speak in the manner that he does all the time. If you were attending Mass, which he should do, I think it would make him a better person, but far be it from me to give Nick Fuentes any suggestions, because last time when I just asked him who he was dating, or like, hey, you're going to get married one day, he lost his mind. He started acting like a raging homosexual, calling me all sorts of things, of course, when he was in the comfort of his own home, and very much embodying the stereotype of women that you see on reality TV. This is actually was quoted by me for asking him about whether he wanted to get married one day.
Sit down and shut the f up, bitch! That's
Oh, no.
Just a general rule. If you have to say I'm a man, which then follows up by saying I'm a real man, you probably aren't one. If Brigitte, you got to sue to prove you're a woman, you're probably not one. Real men, their natural inclination is to protect women and children.
Yes.
In fact, a woman's natural inclination is to respect men when they are exhibiting the attributes of true masculinity, protecting women and children. Having on a platform and trying to soft sell the definition of pedophilia by saying, well, it wasn't 5-year-olds, and so it's okay. And by the way, to that clip of him yelling, all I can ever see is the Real Housewives of Beverly Hills. Take a look at this.
Sit down and shut the f up! That's what a man has to say!
My sister was a when I was in high school. Just yelled, screamed at the place. Anyway, it's a call for actual real men to stand up and become leaders and to help us fight what we are fighting, which is a spiritual war. Yes, it does matter, and perhaps the wrong person to deliver this line from which movie.
This just looks so like
Usual Suspects.
thin to me.
Usual Suspects. It's kind of corrected me, but this quotation is definitively true. Take a listen.
The greatest trick the devil ever pulled was convincing the world he didn't exist.
Actually, maybe he was the exact right person to deliver that line. Take a brief break and then discuss some of your comments from yesterday's episode about the E program, which was awesome. Alright, guys, do you maybe owe back taxes, or maybe you haven't filed taxes in years? Well, now is the perfect time to resolve your...
So what's going on? I don't know if I want to click to Benny. Do we want to find out what's going on? Benny's been a little bit like towing the line kind of stuff. You know, I like Benny. I hope he returns to his roots. I found him before he had very low subscribers. I started listening, was pretty happy, and then the last year or two, I guess actually honestly since Charlie was unalived, yeah, he's changed a bit. He doesn't seem to be questioning it. The man had his own death threats. Like, why? He just doesn't seem to be questioning it. I don't know. I don't know how he can believe all this stuff. Was anything in Charlie's life real? What do you think? Alright, so I guess this is as good as it's gonna get, right? Looking like that, looks like that, looks like that. We're gonna leave this the way it is, and I'm just gonna put a show in there. But what actually am I gonna do? I need to write some stuff down, so I'll leave this page with you, and we'll find. I guess we'll put Benny on. We can put Benny on. I mean, it's not like he's a liar or anything. He's just, I don't know, accepting what I guess I'm not accepting. What's this fantasy? What kind of sound is that? Well, it's had 54 views, so people like it, I guess. Because what time did it say Baron Coleman was going to be on? Because Baron's always good. And he's got that giggle. Oh, look, I am Coach Collins. Let's just do Coach Collins. He goes, all right. How does he do that? Boo-loo-loo-loo-loo.
It's coming from. Now, talking about signs of often, because I'm trying to make this more interesting to you guys, make more sense. The signs of often, we have, and I had to write this down, but I know this already. I've watched this happen for the longest time. I just didn't connect it to often. Now, celebrities, musicians, they're worked up, and you see this all the time, they're worked into deities, right? We make them these grandiose figures, these huge, unattainable figures. They are high up, we are below, right? Even if it's a concert, they are up. I said it before, they have the microphone, you do not. They have the talent, you do not. They have the fame, the fortune, all of the accolades, all of the cameras, you do not, right? There's a reason for that, right? That's why social media disrupted so much, because all of a sudden some guy could just be like, hey, what's up? And then all of a sudden he's becoming famous. Wasn't supposed to be like that before. There was a gate. Funny that there's a program called Gateway, but there was a gate, and only so many people could go through the gate.
Let's get the
and as you
piggy
went
cam.
through the gate, there was a certain process that you had to go through. There's a
and
certain
running.
type of personality you had to be, and there was a certain amount of things you were supposed to let happen to yourself before you became that famous person. That's why social is disrupted. But believe me, when it comes to the social media aspect and the fame there now, there is that same gate that has been created, and there's only so many people, right? That's why you see. It's funny how the people who are super like A-list celebrities, and the people who are just these independent social media creators, it's funny how they all have the same narrative. They all do the same things. Then when you look deeper, they're all at the same parties. Then when you look really deep, they all have the same type of management. They all have the same type of PR. They all have the same managers and agents. And then you're like, oh, okay. Makes sense. It's a big club. We're not in it. But just to touch on this more, their movies and concerts, they create them into like these godlike figures, right? Tom Cruise is somebody who can do incredible stunts. And apparently he does them himself. I mean, just because he believes that he's just this He literally, based on what he believes he's this like this super like a superhero. He believes he's like a superhero, basically, right? He believes he is from Krypton. He's been placed here to give us all the most beautiful movies ever created. It's very weird. So this is how all of them operate, right? This is how all of them are positioned in this role of being these huge creatures. And then I say creatures. Freudian slip. What I really think about them came out for a second. But in a sense, they program us with the movies, right? And when I say that, I mean there's a lot of stuff that happens in movies that becomes common knowledge, right? There's a lot of music, there's a lot of scenes, there's a lot of situations even, you know, whether it's like a rom-com type of, you know, romance comedy. There's certain things that we just know happen in certain situations, and we get that from movies, right? If you're like my age, if you're like in your late 30s, there's probably a lot of things that you learned in the world from The Simpsons. And you didn't learn it directly from there, but it was like kind of etched in your mind from The Simpsons. I'm sure if you like went into some things, you can think of all the things that are world events or happenings that you start learning from The Simpsons. That's just like one example of it, right? Because when I speak about often, there is programming afoot in this whole thing. And right now I'm just talking about Hollywood, movies, actors, but we can even take it a step further, right? They mold our realities. These movies, these people, they mold our realities. Now, let's even just get into something even weirder, okay? I found this video. Apparently, and this makes perfect sense, if you ever watch a concert, Sam Smith, like go check out a clip from a Sam Smith concert, okay? Go check out a clip from a Taylor Swift concert. Go check out, oh, perfect example. The guy's name is Lil Uzi Vert. Check out something from his concert.
5.
You know, he's
So
literally on
1,
stage saying, you know, you guys, this is the rapture, you guys
2,
are all going to hell with me.
4,
You're here, there's no
1,
going back, you're already here. And it's like, wow, just so out in the
2,
open. But if you watch these
4,
concerts, you start to see that there's a ritual type of theme throughout them. Madonna, you can see this. There's so many. If you just watch the concerts, and don't watch them for too long, I don't want you to get any type of amnesia, because that's what we're moving on to right now. Apparently, people are experiencing this wild phenomenon.
Yeah,
when it
have
comes
you
to
seen
Taylor
this? I
Swift.
think the first time I saw it
And
was
they
Al
used to
Roker.
experience it with Michael Jackson as well. But
They
listen to
said,
this.
Now, imagine paying hundreds of euros
Hold on.
to see your favourite art.
hold on. Like, I want to show you the one that I'm familiar with. Watch. This is a little crazy. YouTube, there we go. And then we're gonna go. He's on at 8 o'clock. Okay. Al Roker. Here, it's Al Roker freezes on Today's Show. Watch this. And listen to what the lady says when he froze. I don't know. It was like he needed to be rebooted. I'm not kidding. Watch.
I'm Samantha Guthrie alongside Matt Lauer and Al Roker with someone who did the junior high art dance. And it's like this. Gonna make it real awkward.
That's exactly how
You have to have a certain amount of distance between
Yes,
the bodies
exactly.
in junior high.
Yes, like they say in Catholic schools, leave room for the Holy Ghost. Anyway, there is a lot of
See that?
memories today, actually. The big
She
day
said
in
Holy
music
Ghost.
history.
35 years
Look
ago
at-
today,
he's
Elvis
still
Presley
stuck.
passed away, the king of rock and roll, as Mark Cohn
He's
says
stuck.
in his great song.
Look how
Walking in
long
Memphis,
he's
there's a
stuck.
pretty little thing waiting
We're
for
gonna
you
watch the
down
timer in a
jump.
second. Did you see that? Like he was still stuck when they went away. Watch.
The junior high art dance. And it's like this. Gonna make it real awkward.
That's exactly how you have to have a certain amount of distance between
Yes,
the bodies
exactly.
in junior high.
Yes, like they say in Catholic schools, leave room for the Holy Ghost. Anyway, there is a lot of
See?
memories today, actually. It's a big day in music history.
35 years ago today,
What is that?
Elvis Presley passed away. The king
What
of rock
is
and roll,
that?
as Mark Cohn says in his great song.
What
Walking
is
in
that? And I think
Memphis,
that's what
there's
he's
a
gonna
pretty
talk
little
about.
thing waiting for the king
Look,
down
he's
in the
still
jump.
frozen. So he got that way at, let me see, right there.
Anyway, there is a lot of it. There is
So
a lot
that's
of it,
17 seconds in.
Anyway, there is a lot of it, memories today.
So it was
There's a
16
bit
seconds
to
in.
history.
And then they didn't end the thing for 33 seconds. Look, he just is there. He froze. Let's read comments. Oh, comments are turned off. Right? It's so weird. It's so weird. Okay. So, we'll put this on. And then we're going to go listen to him again. This is one of mine. And I had a little bit of computer problems, so these lights aren't blinking. But next year, when I do Christmas ones, my lights are going to blink. See, Sleepy Hollow Sessions. At 8 subscribers. I have 8 subscribers. We're going to be happy with that. 8. And look, there's the fireplace. This is it's pretty. All right, let's listen to what he says. Is he going to do the same thing? Now this is, I am Coach Colin. Let's get right into it. That's what he says.
Artist in concert, only to get home and realise I can't actually remember their performance. It might sound crazy, or at least quite unusual, but since the start of Taylor Swift's tour, that is precisely what some fans say has been happening to them. It's a phenomenon called transient global amnesia, and to tell us a bit about it, our site editor
Oh, no. She's talking about something different. But let me look up some more celebrity freezings, because they're pretty funny. Not funny, they're like curious funny. So, celebrity freezes. There we go. Freezing on live TV. Like, what is going on? This is the craziest ice video on the internet. Okay, which one do we want? Do we want celebrity freezing, or this is the craziest? Let's go with this is the craziest. Oh, Dollar Tree hack. I didn't know what I could do with this.
Let me tell you.
No. I don't want to get in trouble for. Like, I get in trouble all the time for copyrights, and it'll be showing somebody else's video. It's like, how? What did she do? So she's putting this up, and ooh, she was going right towards her finger with that knife. What in the world? What is that? These ladies with their glue guns. Do you have a glue gun? I don't have a glue gun. I should get a glue gun. Oh, okay. This is, I think this like a tray on your desk would probably be really cool. I'm not sure that, oh, you kind of blew it for me. I really like the one part. I don't like that little, nah, we're almost there, but let's go back. We digress. Oh my gosh, this is the craziest one on the internet. Boo. Alright, let's turn it down a little bit. And here we go.
Welcome to the Liberal Pipeline. The Channel Focus on exposing the upfront. And of course, here's the meme of the day brought to you.
That's funny.
Beyond all of that, it's actually got an interesting backstory, and once again, it tells the same story that we've been covering for years, that all the left does is lie. The backstory behind this lying about peaceful protest.
I know, they haven't been peaceful protests.
He also suffered a skull fracture during the encounter. Badly for him, he actually went blind. Identified as Caden Rumbler, a 21-year-old dumbass, I guess you could say. Well, he had an encounter with a couple ICE agents that ended pretty badly for him. He actually went blind in one of his eyes after taking a rubber bullet to the face. He also suffered a skull fracture during the encounter. This happened in Santa Ana, California. And immediately upon hearing this news, as the story was proliferating across left-wing social media, the narrative was that this guy was brutalized by these ICE agent Gestapo. Footage was released. Professor, he was charging at ICE agents, assaulting ICE agents. I think happened next.
wrong with
these
people?
I mean, what is wrong with this kid?
What is
Especially
wrong
being
with
such a
people?
pipsqueak. You
Go
know, I see stuff
home,
like this
clean
with
your
these
room.
5 foot tall, 140-pound kids, and I think to myself, what the hell are you doing? Look how you're getting dragged with one arm, buddy. You're a child. And that's not even fair to say, because I was probably double this kid's size when I was 14. But it's just mind-boggling. What are you doing playing out? We're supposed to be on your highly curated, totally manipulated TikTok algorithm for engaging in domestic terrorism. I was brutalized by ICE, then the video shows up, and time they're the aggressors, or nothing happened. Here's another example. This just happened the other day. We've got another anti-ICE, in quotation marks, activist.
She is a very
Run
nice
over by the
look.
Tennessee Highway Patrol during an anti-ICE mob. And well,
Doesn't she?
again, the video is released, and it's pretty much exactly what you might expect.
Move! Get out of my way! Get out of my way! Move! 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 Get out! Come here!
Ooh, what a victim. I'm convinced ICE is Gestapo. Oh wait, that's not ICE, that's the Tennessee Highway Patrolmen. Oh, those are white supremacist Gestapo forces in Tennessee. Come on, I mean, we are dealing with...
Alright, I gotta get back to work.
They were murdered. It's just become so frustrating.
I can't
The worst part
get
is
back
that,
to
you know,
work.
To a certain extent, it's kind of working. There's so many people that just don't
I know,
have the
people are
ability-
just believing this stuff. I can't take it anymore. I'm getting a headache. Oh, I can't watch that. Seeing your dog tries to find his way home after being abandoned until he got exhausted. I cannot watch that. Aw, she was there to help him, so good for her. I can't watch that. I can't watch that. Oh my goodness. Now my heart hurts. Now my heart hurts. He was abandoned, and then he wanted to go home, but they didn't want him there. Let's watch The Best Way to Wash Your Pillows just so I can get my head.
When washing our bedding, our pillows are often overlooked. But over time, they fill up with sweat, body oils, and even the occasional...
Throw it away!
So let me show you the best way to clean that up. Now, the
Big
first
old
step
trash
before
bag.
you wash anything is to always check the tag on the pillows. The reason this is so important is because not every pillow can be washed in the washing machine, and if you throw the wrong pillow in your washer, you might ruin it. For instance, this pillow right here can be washed in the washing machine. The tag helps us to see that it can be washed on cold water in a gentle cycle with a mild detergent. Now, if you do have a pillow with just laundry symbols, a quick hack for this is just grab your iPhone, take a picture, and then you can swipe up, and it will tell you exactly what those symbols mean. So use that tip. It is super helpful. Now, if you do have a memory foam pillow in your house like this one here, speaking from experience, never, ever, ever throw these in the washing machine. It will break them down and it will start to crumble and you just ruin your nice pillow. Instead, just again, look at the tag. For instance, this pillow says to take off the cover. It's really nice. It has a zip cover here. That can be washed in the washing machine. However, the actual foam insert can only be spot cleaned. But I have a few tips so you can do that quick and easy. So definitely stick around for those. The second step
That's a
before
good
you throw
tip.
the pillows in the washing machine is to always
That's a gross pillow. Throw it
Now, there's
away.
2 products I like to recommend for this. The first one is
Throw
this
it
here.
away.
It's hydrogen peroxide, just the 3% in the brown bottle that you can get pretty much at any big box store or local drugstore. And the nice thing about this is it's relatively inexpensive. Now what I like to do is spray down the entire pillow pretty heavily with this. You want enough on there where it's damp and really can sit there and do its job. What's great about hydrogen peroxide is it attacks those yellow spots that usually are on your pillow from just sweat and oils and drool. Now, one suggestion, if your pillow is really bad, I also like to just go grab a soft bristle brush and just gently agitate where those really nasty circles are and just kind of stains and things. That way it helps the hydrogen peroxide work even better. Now, one thing to keep in mind is pre-treating also means let the cleaner sit there and just do its thing for a while before you throw it in the washing machine.
So when I use the hydrogen peroxide, I do like to let it sit for about 30 minutes. That way it just really has time to work. The second option is using a laundry stain remover. Now I really like this one here from Tide, the Ultra Oxy, and you're going to use this the same way as you would the hydrogen peroxide.
What were they
Spray
doing
it
on
the
that
entire
pillow?
Pretty liberally, and you want to pay special attention to those problem areas and all those jewel marks and things, and then give it a quick scrub. Now what's nice about this one is it has the Oxy in there, so that oxygen bleach is going to do a great job to pull out the yellowing and really leave your pillow not only fresh and clean, but also brighter and whiter. Something I like to always mention when it comes to washing your pillows is that if your pillow is really, really dirty, it has a ton of spots, kind of like this one did here, sometimes it can be a good idea to just replace it rather than going through all the effort and trying to get it clean. Now I do have high hopes for this pillow here. I think it's going to clean it really well. However, sometimes it can just be so much work, and especially if your pillow is, let's say, like 10 years old, at that point, it doesn't have much structure anymore. It's probably not doing your neck any favors.
Okay,
So
I have to
would
go back to work.
recommend just
But now my head's
the next
better.
step is to throw
My
the
head
pillow
got really,
in the
what
wash.
got really sad about that dog. Oh, wait, let me turn this music off. I'm gonna sit here and dance my way into some sort of copyright problem. Ain't nobody got time for that. But that's a cute idea. I don't know what she's gonna do with it. I don't like that one as much as I like the other side. But what are we doing with it? Oh, that was like a cake thing? Okay. Yeah, we're too deep into the internet right now. There. This is a nice little mellow scene for you to go to sleep. 23 views. Woot woot. Alright. Let me get my stuff done. Let me get my stuff done. Let me get my stuff done. I want to do another background. So here, let's just clip this the way we want to clip it. So what I'm going to do is I want to separate it into 3 pieces. One's going to stay solid, that's the bottom. And then we're going to have the top one, which is here. And then we'll have the middle one, which is just maybe 2 pieces in here. Just really simple. I mean, we'll just have these 2 end pieces. This 2 end pieces should stay still, and this should rock, and this should rock. So we'll just have it go like ooh, up and down. I hear baby girl. I hear baby girl. And then I have another Sleepy Hollow session that I want to show you that I started. This one right here. What size is this? Is it this one? Yeah. Look at this one. I'm going to make this one sparkle. So should I do this one today? Kind of wanted to do a kid's one today. Look at him, he fits so nice into there. Beautiful. And I have all these candles. I don't know if I should have Christmas. I should probably take that wreath off of there. It's not really so Christmassy, it's like outdoors woodsy. I kind of like having... Cat's got the zoomies. Alright, let's hear what he's talking about. Amnesia.
Thieg is with me in the studio. Julia, first of all, what are we talking about here?
Hi, Nadia. So indeed, it did happen to French fans, but also fans in the United States. And tickets there are thousands of euros. But they're called Swifties, right? The Taylor Swift fans, and they all reported some of them reported not being able to recall Taylor Swift's performance during the Eras tour. Now, some don't remember the color of her outfits or choreographies, but for others, it's a total blackout. They don't remember some entire portions of her show, but they always vividly remember whatever happened before the show or after the show. Now, the phenomenon was so widespread that a psychiatrist from New Jersey decided to investigate these fan testimonies, and she even published a research paper, and she believes it is the syndrome called transient global amnesia, which is characterized by a temporary loss of memory. So it's actually due to an overload of excitement and stress. So it
Transient
overwhelms
global.
the brain, which makes it unable to
What is that?
encode
Transient
memories,
global
if you will.
amnesia.
So
Excitement and stress. It gives people an overload of excitement and stress. Now, this is Mortal Kombat Ultra. That's the type of thing they were doing. Often, that's the type of thing they were doing. But where it's different than Mortal Kombat Ultra is that often would do it, or was seeing if they could do it through ritual, right? They were trying to see if they could have people be a part of something where one person is grandiose, like this type of, deity figure, godlike figure, right? Put them at the top of everything.
It revolves
Excite
on its
people,
own for 24
make
hours.
them feel like they're a part of something. They're all Swifties. That's what their names are, right? And they proudly go by that name, right? And it's not anything bad about them, but it's just interesting to see that there is, and I'm sure this is not the only thing, just her fan base is so huge that they probably just all talk about it. But I'm sure somebody's had that with a rap concert, or with a Cardi B concert, or a Nicki Minaj concert. I'm sure this happens a lot more. It's just that Taylor's the one for people to talk about, because she's the, in the algorithm and everything, she's the draw. If you put Taylor Swift in a title, it's like, it does better than if you put Nicki Minaj in a title. It just does. So they're probably focusing in on that, but I'm sure if they did some digging, they could find this happening. That's why I know it happened with Michael Jackson, because I've heard about it happening with Michael Jackson way before Taylor Swift. People were passing out. People were passing out, had to be taken out on stretchers. It was nuts. And it was because it was a jam-packed place, but also it's because people would get overloaded with excitement. They would get overloaded with stress. And then all of a sudden, and this is the key thing, it makes it so, she even said something about encoding. Your brain can't encode or something like that. Well,
What?
when it comes to often, that's the type of
What?
state they would want you in, so they could imprint something.
Oh, that's so much
Not say
easier.
what, no
Thank
idea
you.
what. No idea. Imprint something on you. In fact, most people who are patients of things like this report losses of time. In fact, a lot of people who are a part of, who claim they have like UFO experiences, right? Abduction experiences. They claim huge losses of time. Like, to the point it doesn't make sense. In fact, for those of you that haven't been watching the channel too long, I did this episode about this pilot in Mexico who claims that, and this is not just him claiming it, but other people claim it as well. He started flying, then these 3 objects went around him, and he lost control of everything. So he couldn't control the plane. And then he blacks out, has this huge loss of time. And where he is flown to, and how much fuel is gone doesn't make sense. He's much further away than how much fuel he used, right? It's like he should have used three quarters of a tank. He only used 1/4 of a tank, and it doesn't make any sense. And what he says, or what the people back at dispatch say, is that he started giving a message. I know this is very weird, but Candace is going down a weird lane, so I'm like, I'm right there with her. Let's go down some weird stuff. He starts giving a message to the people through the pilot. So basically, they're using him like an intercom, okay? And they start talking about humanity, and they start talking about the fact that aliens actually look just like us, and all this weird stuff. And they're like, do you remember saying any of this? And he's like, no, I don't remember any of that. None of it. And apparently, dispatch and him talked for like an hour. He doesn't remember any of it. Huge loss of time. But again, when it comes to UFOs, like that's the main thing they say. Huge losses of time, just out of nowhere. Felt like they were somewhere for 5 minutes. All of a sudden, it's been 5 days. Huge losses of time.
Whoa.
And who knows what happens to them when it comes to that, because UFO is just so much speculation when it comes to that type of thing. But we're having actual people in a concert experiencing the same type of thing. Now, if I wanted to make the connection that I know I could make, just in terms of the unseen realm around us and like demons and stuff like that, I know I could make that connection, but I think that would be for another episode. But go check out a concert. Go check it out and see what it looks like.
I like to call it a remote view, but not simply a debate over policies.
You're going to spend a long time in the pound if you don't tell us what we want to know. But if you tell us what we want to hear, maybe we can work something out.
What's up, guys? It's Matty. We are finally hearing more about Lance Twiggs. Lance Twiggs is the transgender boyfriend of Tyler Robinson who killed Charlie Kirk, and now we are finding out the FBI protected him. That he had an FBI detail protecting him? What the hell is this? So News Nation sat down with a member of Lance Twiggs' family, his female member of his family. Famously, his family kicked him out because of drug use and because of his sociopathic and violent behavior. His family's from Wisconsin, and they call him a far left-winger. But the family member says that Lance Twiggs is somebody who was highly intelligent. So was Tyler Robinson. He was a concert pianist, and he's somebody who had just a whole
All right, you know what?
performing.
Unfortunately, here, let me put up the Strawberry Day. There we go. Unfortunately, as I said in the beginning, I kind of had a mystery was solved. Good, it's pretty good, but I have to let it marinate for a bit to make sure that it's actually the right information before I tell you about it. And my head keeps drifting there. So any conversation that I'm going to try to have right now, it's going to be bleh. But that strawberry ice cream looks good, huh? I don't trust most store-bought ice cream, so... And I don't think I'm making ice cream anytime soon. Maybe I'll find a dairy somewhere that makes it in-house or something. But anyway, thank you for sort of joining me here while I wasn't really here. Oh, maybe I had that Swiftie amnesia that they were talking about. No, I was fully here, but I just kept thinking back to what I just found out. So what I think I'm going to do is I think I'm just going to do the piggy linens and then read. And yeah, just do the piggy linens and read. I was trying to find a piece to a puzzle, and I think I found it. But in case I didn't, I don't want to be all, yay, this was it. And then there's like, no, I was so wrong. But, and it's all positive, nothing's negative. Like, you're not going to hear me come on here and be negative. That's just not my thing. So what I think I'm going to do is I'm just going to go do those linens, like I said. All right, so I want to appreciate you. I want to appreciate you. Take two. Kimberly talks. I appreciate you. That's it. I appreciate you. And yeah, it's something else, right? So you have yourself a lovely day. A lovely night. So you have yourself I told you my brain's distracted in a good way. Positive distractions.